So welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the morning session. For the familiar faces from some years ago who weren't there, I hope they enjoyed as well. And again, welcome back. So we continue. We have another 2 sessions. The morning we had a session with Enrico and Daniele and with Stefano and the rest. And then of course Alessandro did this very interesting sharing session, for which I will thank you dearly. Alessandro, grazie, Cambridge Management Consultant. So I'll shut up and I'll give a quick word to all my panelists to introduce themselves. And we're going to talk about the IX and neutral and data centers and so on. So Ali, if I may start with you, if you unmute yourself and quickly introduce yourself to the audience. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon again. My name is Ali Makhlouk. I am a product manager that is handling our the telco internet exchange platform, which is called Manam IX, for about nearly 3 years now. And I also have some other tasks of handling IPLC, international capacity, connectivities, etc. So yeah, this is the short version.
Okay, thank you very much. Emmanuel?
So Emmanuel Becker, I'm MD for Equinix in Italy, and I am the president of IDA, which is Italian Data Center Association.
Merci. Even though you live longer in Italy than I do. Alessandro.
Hello. Hi, I'm Alessandro Talotta, executive president at Mix. I joined Mix in 2018. It's the 3rd or 4th year now. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you for being here. And last but not least, Neven, please.
Thank you, Eric. I'm Neven. I'm the founder and CEO of Netera and Netix. And Netix is actually a global internet exchange. So it's very much fitting to this very interesting conversation that we're going to have.
Okay, and let's hope that after the session, people understand even more how important IX is, right?
That's right.
That would be lovely. So if I may invite Emmanuel for his for executive presentation for us. And good luck. I will not interrupt. I will leave you alone.
You can. So welcome all of you. Interesting to be all together here. So we will have a difficult task all together to speak about what is important about NIX and how are we linked together with carrier neutral data centers and what does it mean. So we'll try to have some little point together just to first of all explain, maybe not all of you know who is Equinix, but you will see it's interesting in our speech. Equinix, it's an international, known as international or global DC data center provider because we are present in 5 continents. And we are organized in 3 main regions, which are America, MEA, and Asia Pacific. If we are looking about what we are seeing about MEA region, which is much more of our interest here, there is a lot of presence, and we are based in some very interesting countries in which there is some already really organized digital transformation, like in the FLAP countries, or FLAP-D, as some are saying. So FLAP, for anyone which don't know it, it's Frankfurt, London, Amsterdam, Paris, and D, Dublin. And then there's a lot of new rising countries in which Italy obviously is part, in which there is a lot of strong interest about digital transformation. So what are we seeing then? There is another part of the world which is raising like hell in new need for digital transformation, speaking about obviously Middle East, Africa, and for what is much more near to us on APAC, speaking about India. All of this will be linked together, and we'll see why it's very important to be all together and having the opportunity in having much more IX, giving this interconnection and interconnectivity. So maybe Equinix in a nutshell, it's we were speaking about that just before. It's a 70 billion plus valued company, and we are working with a lot of partners. Is what we are deploying. And more on this, we are having a big footprint as an IX because we deployed Equinix Internet Exchange, which is present in all of these countries you can see. And then there is some points which are under still under deployment, as you can see in some black dot in this map. But the thing which is very interesting is to see that we are serving the capabilities in having our Equinix IX in being able to deliver interconnection. It's not in competition with local IX, it's complementary and it's in support to local IX. In any other market in which we were deploying our Equinix Internet Exchange, there is some local IX which are very important and very known, like Mix or Namex for Italy, for example. But this is where each time you are bringing an IX, that means we are bringing the capabilities in attracting like a magnet our own customers, being the first provider in the world. We are mechanically having the most numbers of customers being inside our facilities. And these customers, when they are looking for us in deploying in a new metro, they are very interested in having the capabilities in bringing their connectivity in an IX. So maybe they will first start with Equinix Internet Exchange, but they will immediately deploy with the local IX. So that means when we are deploying an IX in a region, that means this IX will attract new traffic and load in local existing IX. Maybe a little word about Equinix. What does it mean, Equinix? And Equinix, it's a company which was founded in '98. And Equinix meaning equality, neutrality, and internet exchange. Because we built at the very first day Equinix, which was the first place where neutrality we were a neutral place having internet exchange been done outside of an NSP. Said that IX is helping, so an internet exchange is helping in deploying new digital services. An example of digital services we are deploying as Equinix is something which is named Equinix Fabric. So what is Equinix Fabric? It's a platform we deployed in all of these points you can see, and then you can see our SDN, software-defined network, which is virtually deployed in all of these countries. We are deploying a platform Fabric, which is helping any of our customers to be connected together. In the very first day, this platform was named, maybe some of you remember, it was named Equinix Cloud Exchange because it was deployed based on our IX platform to help our customer to have access to any cloud service providers in the world. And this is what we did, meaning Equinix Fabric is helping any customer, not only CSPs and final customer versus CSPs, but any customer being connecting between any customer. You can imagine you are based here in Milan. You want to have some load and you need to access to a CSP which is only based in Frankfurt. Thanks to Fabric, you will be virtually logged to this CSP in Frankfurt, or you are using a CSP which has its region in Milan, and you need to use multiple regions because you need to go to Frankfurt or to Adelaide or I don't know to Los Angeles, for example. We can deploy you like if it's virtual cross connect to any of our customers which are in another place. So you're an automotive company, you need to be linked with your tire partner, you need to be linked with your financial partner, you need to be linked with your any NSPs you need. Fabric will help you to do that. Another platform we deployed is Network Edge. So maybe a few words about what is Network Edge. Network Edge, it's capabilities in this platform based in another part of this platform in virtualize all of this system you can see here. So all of our partners which are part of this platform, we can virtualize it in any point I will show you just after. And so you can deploy instantly in a place where you're not even present. So let's assume that you are based in Italy and you want to deploy somewhere in Australia, somewhere in Asia Pacific, somewhere in America, and you don't have bandwidth, you don't have maybe resources, you don't have people, you don't have maybe the timeline to be able to do this. We can deploy instantly any of these appliances as a virtual appliance to have connectivity and to have even security in all of this location. Again, based in our SDN and together with our partner, which is our NSPs. Another one which is interesting too, you have connectivity in another place, but maybe you will need to have on day one to have some computing and storage. So we deployed another platform which is named Equinix Metal. Equinix Metal, it's like a bare metal solution, but Equinix Metal, it's the perfect solution which is in between on-off premise and on-cloud solution. So you need to have the flexibility about an on-cloud solution, but you need to have security or performance about an on-premise solution. We can deploy it again instantly in any other location where we are already present. So here is Equinix Metal deployed in the world. That means in any of these locations, we can create, even for 1 minute or for 1 year, whatever kind of load you need, instantly a digital load in all of these locations. So you don't need to be really present there. If we are making the mix of these two maps, that means you can be virtually network deployed and then having some computing and storage with your security on it in all of this location, and this will be absolutely virtualized. So said this, why I was saying it's important, maybe let's come back to this last slide. Why is it so important to have an IX platform and or IX platform to be connected with any kind of data center which are present in our areas? Because we are seeing that there is more and more, it was said this morning, more and more traffic loads coming in any countries in the world, obviously much more in the Med area. And if we are speaking about also in this area, there is a big interest in this area, not only for loads coming from the North European countries to South European countries, but even for the lot of link which is needed between the, between all of the African area, all of this Asian Pacific area, and even from the South European, South American area. All of subsea cables, which Enrico was saying this morning, bringing and collecting connectivity, connecting traffic coming to Europe, will have more and more interest in our South European region. In this case, we will have more and more needs of interconnectivity, and between any XSPs, so any kind of service provider be present in our countries, we'll need to have more and more interconnection in a more secure way. And this is why I think that the debate we will have now is interesting in seeing how we can help on this and how we can support all together. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Just 1 second. Maybe there's a question from the audience for you. I don't know, because they were so silent. You were all so silent. No, I think it was actually quite okay. So thank you for that. Really, really impressive. And okay, one question for me. Okay, so what's next for Equinix? What's next?
So what's next? As you can see, we are not only feeling that we need to help our customer to be able to be deployed in any region, as we are already covering quite well the world map, but we are feeling that more and more digital services complementary to data center services will be necessary for the need of your final customer. What am I meaning with this is your final customer are living in a very competitive world in which a solution need to be deployed very quickly, in which a solution is becoming more and more complex, because whatever was going on cloud on the last 5 years was the easy process. Now we are coming to the core process, coming on cloud or on multi-cloud, or in this between, on off-premise, on cloud, on in this in between. And so we are feeling that there is much more need for digital services solution embedded thanks to NSPs, which are going up to the last mile or going in any mid-range or long-range connectivity. There will be more and more needs in delivering these value-added services for your customer, because they need flexibility, they need time to market, and they need to have even a secure solution with alternative routes. And so why an IXP is so important in this, and all together we're working in this way, is being able not to be only to deploy this new kind of solution, but this new kind of solution need more and more interconnection. And this is why I'm feeling an IX whatever is an AX in any other countries, will grow on having a much more strategical part in any deals we will handle.
Okay. Alessandro, do you want to comment on this one? I mean,
Yeah, sure. Of course, thank you, Manuel, for these insights. First of all, I think when we talk about data centers and IXPs, we really need to have a deployed infrastructure. Fiber optics is the most important, probably access path. Otherwise, IXPs and data centers could not deploy their services. So what we aim always when we look at the development in each countries is at the state of the fiber optics deployments, how the capillarity is, how much the customer are using, the adoption of the customers related to the access to the big internet. So this is one of the most important components. So I think it's mandatory for each country to have a full deployed of the fiber optic networks. After that, of course, the installation of a data centers depends in neutral data centers, and ISPs depends on the number of networks, traffic, load, and hub, interconnection hub. We see, as Emmanuel was saying, that the development of the flap area was relevant, and it was very important to track and then to permit the overall deployment of the traffic in a global base. Now we see that the age is becoming more important, capillarity in terms of presence next to the customers. And these are, of course, these require a combination of interest. We call it community of interest, where there is the infrastructure provider, the cloud provider, the internet exchange provider, the neutral data center provider. These are all actors of the same value chain. That's probably one of the most important that should happen and will permit the increase of this market.
okay. Nevin, from your point of view, I mean, being centrally located in the southeast central part of Europe with Netix and Netera, where do you see what trends do you see? What's coming, and what are the key drivers from your perspective?
Thank you, Eric. There's something very specific that gets me very excited about the internet exchange business in general. You know, if you look at the business, the telecom industry in general, from a macroeconomic point of view, it is heavily dominated by, if you look at, starting from hyperscalers, then big international telecom operators and stuff like the usual movers and goers are big telecom operators. Those are usually the ones that are, carrying the critical infrastructure, the critical services, the ones that are too big to fail, all kind of stuff like that. And suddenly, about 10, 15 years ago, something changed, and the IXPs came to the scene. And the IXPs are not huge businesses. They're actually small businesses by any measure. They're small businesses. And however, being small businesses, they are as critical, they have become as critical as any of those huge multinationals. And this has also been recognized by the European Commission, because in the new regulation that is coming for the NIS2 for the cybersecurity, it is recognized as critical infrastructure, and it's rightfully so. The internet exchanges have become critical infrastructure in every developed telecom market in Europe and in the whole world, and this is so nice. It's so nice to actually see small and medium-sized, businesses be critical in this industry. It's very refreshing. It's very nice, and that's going to go. I mean, that's going to stay. That's what I mean. That it's going to go forward and be even more important. Now, the question is how they can be even more important, how they can be even more helpful. And of course, there is 1,376 answers to this question, from like having maintenance route maps that are ready in a situation of disaster. They can quickly switch off high volume content, just to make sure that the important sources of information are available. All kind of stuff. That there is a myriad of ways, integrating cybersecurity, integrating redundancy and good customer support for networks, but they are, and they will be, that they will continue to be, I think, the livelihood, the life. What's the word?
Key indicators.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for the internet industry to to stay around.
Okay, Dimi.
I have a comment.
Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
No. But you have and then we switch to you, Ali.
No, I want just to remark one point, because otherwise maybe there is a missing missing link or misunderstanding here, because the XPs are not fundamental for the IP interconnections. Means that if they are not present on the market, you can do the interconnections with the other networks. So what is critical, according to my opinion, and I agree when you say that the word critical, is that we have to balance giants against the community of internet providers. And the balance is granted by the IXPs, because they are more in line with the philosophy of the development of internet in the market. That's the beauty of IXPs. And that's why they are continuing growing in the market. There are always a request from small networks to be connected with the giants. And the giants, of course, are, in bracket, obliged to stay on the platforms, because they need also to develop and then to deploy the networks. In addition to that, at the beginning, there was very artisanal way of doing the interconnection. So now it's becoming a very professional, reliance, trusted way of presenting a platforms that interconnect the internet in a different way, different layer. So it's now the fact that the community has recognized the IXPs as one of the leaders in terms of developing a state-of-the-art interconnection. And they are easily saying, not easily, but that for them, for all the planners, network planners, for them is a much better staying in a place where where actors can facilitate and working together with the same scope. That's why it's now becoming critical, the presence of the IXPs.
And I think that Alessandro knows that very well, because the Milano Internet Exchange has passed well over 2 terabits of data already, and just in the last couple of years, and it's already in the top 20 internet exchanges in the world, I think.
Only?
We can do better.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Ali. Middle East, tell us what are the key drivers over there, and what trends do you see in over there, please?
Yes, of course. Basically, sorry if I don't know all of your names, but you guys, when you were speaking about the importance of the IXs, that also the same benefits, the same quality, cost-effective solution. These are all trends that are happening in the Middle East right now. Manama IX, which is the internet exchange platform of the telco, has been established in 2019, so around 4 years now. And so far, it has been a very successful product. I'm not saying, of course, just revenue-wise, but in terms of improving the internet quality locally and regionally here in the Middle East. Definitely, there is a good number of small enterprises and ISPs looking to interconnect with big CDN networks, and the implementation of a couple of IXs in the region has helped the overall internet quality and traffic to improve by a substantial amount. Even some members that are joining the IX, they are, even though that if they decide that they do not need it, but they still connect to it as a redundancy for their own, for example, for their own direct connectivities or for their own networks. And as far as demand, I would say mostly here the demand in the Middle East is for AWS content, Google, Meta, cloud services, gaming content, etc. So yeah, this is in a nutshell.
Okay, thank you. I want to stay with you, Ali, because it was mentioned here as well. Do you? I mean, what's there to expect? More, let's say, bigger and large monolithics, or smaller IXPs? So maybe the guys can jump in. But what do you think? What do you expect?
In my own opinion, I would say definitely a number of smaller IXs at the beginning, but of course that could change in the future depending on how each of these IXs perform. So, but initially, yes, and it is currently happening as we speak. So, for example, we have in Bahrain here, we have Manama IX. In Dubai, there are two IXs, Smart Hub IX and UAE IX. There's also JEDEX in Saudi Arabia, etc. So yeah, this trend is happening. Multiple IXs are forming. But future-wise, I would say it is very likely that some of them may fall, some of them may continue, and there would be a couple of dominant IXs, I'd say.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Any of you who want to bump in? And
Yeah.
if so, do we need to change our business strategies?
No, I think Ali, he's right. I mean, this is not necessary to have a big giant in terms of interconnection hub because you need many things, many local things where it's important having the platform. So as much as the traffic is developed in a country, you have to be present. So you just beat where that will be the next city that will polarize traffic, IP traffic, and then you just invest your platform with very few money and give this platform to the interconnection in order to facilitate the work of many operators. Is it, for example, a case of an Asian operators that want to deliver and terminate the traffic in Italy, for example? Of course, the selection of the area where he can collocate their termination point. So is, for example, listing, there's a presence of IXPs. Is the network data center neutral? How fast is the network to connect to the other networks? So these are all the elements. I don't think you have a unique giant that can polarize all the interconnections. A part of saying so that maybe a common policies on approaching the interconnections platform, this would be really helpful because of course the network need to have a clear strategy from the XPs that they have to develop their platforms, but they have to guarantee the same level of services.
So are you also talking about governance?
That's why the European is interested in understanding, because it is a very unuseful to
They
have,
finally woke up.
they woke up.
Pronto.
Yeah, exactly. For example, it's anybody are not happy if the interconnection goes only on a private base, because you cannot track. If you can track anything that is official, listed, public, and this is the only way is to have certified the ISPs as interconnection platform for the community.
On the other hand, and then I'll let you talk. Let's hope that Brussels will not control too much, right? Esatto. So you want to bump in?
There is one thing that is required for the internet exchanges to flourish, and this is actually a number of independent, small and medium-sized again, ISPs and network service providers. I mean, you would find me. I am militant on that point. I think that that any market whatsoever, not even, not only the telecom market, but the telecom market in particular is alive, because of the small and medium size enterprises and business. I'm coming from a country which with 7-8 million population, we have more than 1,000 ISPs, and when we started the internet business,
Only 1,000.
it went down.
Yes.
It went
No,
down.
it was
more.
1,200, right?
It was more. And we were for years, Bulgaria was in the top 5 of best countries of quality of internet versus price.
What happened?
What happened was consolidation. Of course, what happens everywhere, and it went down. It's still very much okay, but it's not where it was. And I'll give you the opposite example, if you would allow me. In countries where this is not the case, like Turkey is a very good example. You have 2 dominant operators, and they would not peer freely with the rest of the market. I mean, how do you start an internet exchange? It's not interesting. Whom do you connect? I mean, to the next ISP that has another 1,000 subscribers. It's not interesting. So, and those big 2 guys, they would be connecting, they will be interconnecting between each other. They don't need, they don't need an ISP. Why would they go to a third party to interconnect, when it's obvious that they can interconnect, between each other. So having a lively, competitive number of vigorous market players is actually necessary for such business model to continue.
Okay.
If you allow me to add just one point here.
Please.
What you're saying is absolutely right. Starting an IXP is basically the same of like chicken and egg scenario, right? So you have the chicken, which is the content provider, and the egg is the ISP. And to make your IX look appealing to the ISPs, you need to have content. And to make it look appealing to the content providers, you need to have ISPs. So yeah, this is one of the difficulties of establishing a new IX. And to be honest, I'm not sure if there is a particular solution to this problem. It could vary from region to region. So I want to see if you have any kind of feedback, let's say, on this problem that internet exchanges, especially smaller ones, have.
Okay, thank you, Ali. Emmanuel?
Maybe I have something for you, Ali, on this point. Speaking about XSPs, which need to have interconnection. So obviously, all of them need to have huge interconnection, and we have local XSPs, and then you have incoming XSPs coming in any market. And actually, there is a flow of outside XSPs coming in any of our markets, meaning there is a lot of exchanges in new traffic coming in. What do they need to be able to deploy, as you were saying, is these chicken and eggs things, is they need to be able to find very quickly an ecosystem in which they will deliver their services. If they want to deliver these services, they need to find some place, and this is where obviously we are fighting to do this, is to have some neutral place in which there is already existing ecosystems that mean business needed services from these SPs, and which are already present in the market. In any market, there is local needs, and that this ecosystem already done. I don't know, by verticals, it should be on finance ecosystem, automotive ecosystem, it should be on an industry ecosystem or whatever. They need to have these service providers units, and then they are starting to consume traffic. It starts nearly always with direct connection or an indirect connection through this kind of a digital service platform as we are delivering in Equinix. But then very soon, they will grow so drastically in their needs of traffic connected to the service providers that they will need to have secured platform, distributed platform, which will be IX. Speaking about distributing platform, I have much more an ask for all of you, how you are seeing it. Obviously, I have my point of view on this, is we are seeing that in the market, there is more and more distribution of our IT load. So times ago, up to now, I should say, mainly one big metro were concentrating any XSPs being present. And so any IT or digital leaders in the country, digital leaders, that means someone delivering some services or someone consuming some services, were quite needed to be part of this metro to be able to consume or deliver services. And so we saw the raising of any IX in all of these big metros, like in Milan or like in Roma for Italy or in Paris, or Frankfurt or whatever. Then we are seeing with this deployment of new services much more deployed in any countries, the need of maybe new services in any part. So what does it mean for you as Mix started to do on some others like DEX6 doing or M6 doing, deploying your services in other parts, or do you feel it will still need to be very big markets and then some other secondary like tier 2, tier 3 market, but not growing so much on this? How do you feeling this? I did your job.
So he's so helpful.
Okay, so if I have understood well, the question of Manuel was very complicated, but sure one. So Manuel, you are saying the deployment of the internet exchange platform in the market is following the demand, or is following a strategy that goes more on the efficiency, on a cost-effective results? I think we follow our customers, first of all. So we have the demand, and then we say, okay, I need your presence in city of Rome. We say, okay, there is already another ISPs. Why you need us? Because I want diversity. I want to have another platforms. I want to be sure that I'm connecting with 100% of the network presence in Italy. I see that, for example, Namex cover 60%, but I need your 40% because of my business. And then we do. So the selection or the expansion of the platforms is because of your portfolio, network portfolio. So of course, the more you have, the better it is. So one of the goal for an XPs is to increase the number of networks. This is mandatory. And our goal is a coincidence with the neutral data centers objective, because the data centers, neutral data centers, live and light and explode, rocket, increase if they have networks. So they say, okay, maybe we need a partner. The partner is the IXPs. So, for example, the Namex is doing a partnership with all the neutral data centers in Rome, because, of course, they believe they can contribute to the increase of networks in the data centers. And this brings traffic. Traffic means that the content provider are happy, and they invest, and they want to be connected to the data center. So it's a combination of different factors. The first step probably is done by who like to put the money first. So the rich one. The rich one will put the money, so the investors probably are the best in that case. But of course, you need the infrastructure, and you need a development country that is spending money for guarantee the connection to all the customers at the retail level. So that is the beauty when you talk about broadband development, broadband interconnection. You have to understand the model. The model is very simple. They need interconnection, traffic, content in one place. That's it.
Okay.
Answer to your question?
Very good one.
That's it.
So Emmanuel is satisfied. So that's a good thing. Anyway, closing rounds. So Ali, if I may start with you, because I'm looking at the time, and 50 minutes, we have another panel session coming. So we need to move a little bit. Ali, from your point of view, what can we expect? What is your glass ball prediction?
Do you mean my prediction regarding the future of the IX in the Middle East?
Exactly.
Yes. Of course, since the demand is growing, I see a growth in traffic. I see a bit, I wouldn't say a shift, but I would say that content providers would start implementing more nodes towards the Middle East. And yeah, basically enhancing the demand and also possibly a few IXs emerging in some countries in the Middle East as well.
Okay, thank you. Nevin? What's your prediction for the future? What will we see? What will happen?
Well, I have a generally very gloomy predictions for the whole telecom industry, but the IXP business in particular, I'm very optimistic. I think it will go well.
Okay, Alessandro?
So for what concerns the IXPs, of course, what I want to remark is in the future, there is no competition between IXPs. I think there is more collaboration rather than competition. The importance is that the platform is present where the traffic is, and we have to anticipate it. So in the next 2 years, for example, I believe there will be new tier 2, tier 3 cities that will come up. This is important, and then we have to be present there. So in Italy, there are lots of opportunities, and we have to capture it as well in Europe and in the rest of the developed country. Africa, I think, needs also to have a particular focus from everybody, from us, from all the players, because it's one of the most interesting area where the traffic will load. And of course, we all together need to help, support, invest in that areas.
Okay. Last famous words for Emmanuel. Your takeaway.
So takeaway first, we are seeing as Equinix that not only any DC provider is saying that there is a lot of interest for digitalization coming in Italy, not only for Italian needs, but even because there is new digital corridors which are deployed. Actually, we were speaking about digital corridors coming from Far East, so through Mumbai, through Middle East, and then coming to South European countries to serve Europe or to have connection with Europe, coming it from East African coast and coming from South Africa to East African coast. And then there is in the other part through Lisbon and Iberia, let's say, West African coast or South America, through the Mediterranean connectivity between Barcelona and Genoa, going again through Italy to European countries. So a lot of flow is coming. This will attract much more XSPs in our South European countries, also all over our Mediterranean area. This will need a lot of resiliency. This will need a lot of capacity, so investment to go. It will not be easy time for anyone because investment will become to be huge. We're really thinking as Equinix, we are at the starting curve. We are not even in the curve. And so my feeling is be prepared.
And the future is bright. But
we love it.
But network resilience, please. There we go. So with this last note from Emmanuel, I would like to thank first of all you sitting here listening to us. So thank you very much for joining. And of course my panelists. So Nevin, Alessandro, Emmanuel, and Ali, you as well. So thank you for joining here. But I would like to say stay tuned because we have one more panel to go and then we're going to talk about data centers. So if you're interested, if you want to hear the latest, stay with us in 15 minutes. And for now, thank you so much.